One of the most sought after tasks in Photoshop is photo retouching, and luckily Photoshop has many tools to help you not only edit your photos but retouch your photos, and in this video we're going to be discussing a few of the photo retouching tools that Adobe has provided for us in Adobe Photoshop CS4. The majority of the tools can be found right over here. We have the Spot Healing Brush tool, the Healing Brush tool, the Patch tool, and the Red Eye Removal tool. We also have down here the Clone Stamp tool, and I'm going to be discussing all of these tools in this tutorial. We're going to start with the Clone Stamp tool because that seems to be the most common retouching tool out there. This is how the Clone Stamp tool works. In this photo we clearly have our model with a few pimples on her face. We want to easily get rid of them by sampling an area that is clean and then applying that area on top of the areas with pimples. This is how we're going to do it. At the top we're going to start by selecting our brush size. I'm going to keep it at a nice soft 50% brush, and then these settings will be the same. This is what we need to do. We're going to zoom into the area here, and if you're on a Mac you're going to hold down Option, and if you're on a PC you're going to hold down your Alt key. What that does is you're telling Photoshop where to sample. And remember, you want to sample a clean area. So we're going to sample right in this area here by just holding down Alt or Option and then clicking your mouse. Now in Photoshop CS4, as you hover over an area that is blemished, you'll see a preview of what it will look like. And all you have to do is click, and it will apply it to that area. Now it's not perfect. You can see a little bit of the edges around it, and in that case you'll probably want to increase or decrease the hardness or increase the softness, and apply it one more time. Click, and there you go. And the blemish is gone. You can go ahead and do it to any part of your image, but you have to remember to always resample. So again, hold down Alt or Option, click, and then click on the area with the blemish. Now this tool is pretty good, but in Photoshop CS4 and the newer versions of Photoshop, there are much better tools. So if we head over to our tools palette once again, we have our Spot Healing Brush tool. Now this is basically the Clone Stamp tool without the sampling. This is how this works. I'm going to increase my brush size just a little bit. Let's say to 30% or pixels. And all we have to do now is hover over a blemish area. So I'm going to hover over this pimple right here and then click my mouse. That's all, and magically it disappears. What it does is when you click your mouse over top of the blemish, it samples everything around it and applies it on top of the area you clicked. It's actually quite brilliant. So if we go ahead and do another example, click, click, click. It's brilliant and super simple. The next tool is the Healing Brush tool. The Healing Brush tool is kind of like the Clone Stamp tool on steroids. I'm not sure why they didn't just replace the Clone Stamp tool, because it's basically the Clone Stamp tool but a lot more accurate. So once again we're going to hold down Alt or Option to sample an area and simply brush over top of our blemishes. It will sample the area around the area that we brushed as well as the area that we sampled and apply it on top of the area that we brushed. That sounds incredibly confusing, but that's the way it works, and it works pretty well. The next tool we're going to take a look at is the Patch tool. Now this tool is a little bit different than the Spot Healing Brush tool, the Healing Brush tool, and the Clone Stamp tool. This Patch tool uses selection methods to define our selection, and then we drag it on top of a clean area to apply the touch-up. Now you can use any selection method that you like to define your selection. It's completely up to you, whether it's the marquee tools, the lasso tools, the pen tools, completely up to you as long as you have a selection method. But for this example, I'm going to be using the selection that the Patch tool gives me. And very simply, all we have to do is drag an area around, or draw an area around our blemish, the area that we want to get rid of, just like that. And once the selection is made, all we have to do is click inside and drag it to a clean area, preferably an area close to the area of the blemish so that the tones match a little bit. And once we're around here, I'm going to let go, and it's going to sample that area and apply it on top of our selection. And as you can see, it's a seamless retouch. It's a great tool for bigger selections. But you will have to note that there are some cases where if you are on a border area, as you can see here, there's a big tone difference from the face and the hair. So if we go ahead and select this blemish here and try and apply it here, we may get some of the hair area, the color of the hair, interfering. So in that case, you'll probably want to go with the Spot Healing Brush tool or another tool just like that. But the Patch tool works great. So once again, I'm going to show you one more example right in this area here. Very simply use my mouse to drag out an area and drag on top of a clean area, and there we have it. Very effective and very easy. Now the last tool we're going to look and touch upon is the red eye removal tool. Now this tool is quite something. And just like the other healing tools, it's super simple to use. I'm sure a lot of you have taken pictures where the person's eyes look possessed, they look red. Well, to remove them in Photoshop cannot be any easier. All you have to do is select the red eye removal tool like we've done already, and click inside the red area. And that's it. It will sample all the red area in the eye and apply a nice dark pupil to it. And just the same like we did, click, and there we go. Now at the top, we can choose the pupil size and the darken amount. So if you want very dark pupils, increase it to 100%. And there you go, we have very dark pupils. If you want very light pupils, decrease it just a little bit. Just like that. So this tool is super simple to use. It can't get any easier, and it's very, very effective at removing red eye in your photos. So that's pretty much about it for the healing tools in Photoshop. Adobe has included some great tools to help you retouch your photos in Photoshop. Check them out, get some pictures of your own, and stay tuned for the next tutorial.